Happy holidays, mathletes. All right, here we go with practice test 4. So number 1, differentiate each function with respect to the given variable, right? So all that means is find the derivative of each variable, right? So we're trying to find f primed of t or f primed of x, kind of more generally if we're using Lagrange notation, or dy dx if we're trying to find if we're using Leibniz notation. You can use either one, right? These are just two different ways to say the same thing. Just wanted to point that out, that all we're doing is finding the derivative, right? And so here we have a trig function, but we have a function within that trig function, right? So this is the cosine of 5t to the fourth, right? And so remember, when we have a function within a function, that's when we use the chain rule. So chain rule works when we have a function within another function like that, and we take the derivative of that, right? And so what ends up happening is we get the derivative of the outer function with the inner function still in there, the same as it was before, right? So the g of x stays intact as it was before, and then we multiply by the derivative of the inner function, right? So here we have the derivative of whatever that inner function is, okay? So that's a chain rule. So that's what we're going to do here. So here I recognize that the outer function is cosine, right? So I want to take the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine, okay? And then I'm going to keep the inside the same as it was before, all right? So this is f primed of g of x, right? And now I'm going to multiply by the derivative of the g of x, the derivative of the inner function, right? So the derivative of 5t to the fourth, we do a little power rule here, it'd be 20t cubed, right? So remember, what we're doing is multiplying by the 4 and then subtracting 1, right? Okay. All right. And so that's basically our answer. I'm going to do a little kind of reformatting here. You could call it simplifying, but I have this negative in front, and I'm just going to bring this 20t cubed to the front as well. So I'm going to format my final answer. Usually when you have a trig function, you put the other stuff in front of the trig function. And so we'll leave it like this. Okay. All right, so that's our final answer. Don't forget to label. Remember that these here do not equal this, right? So don't put equals. We're finding the derivative, so it's a whole different thing, right, than what we started with. All right, so that's how to use the chain rule there with a little bit of trig mixed in. Let me know if you have any questions.